When I was 16, I was locked up in a room because I refused to marry a man my parents had chosen for me. Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're coming across my channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. So without wasting too much of your time, let's get into this write-up of a young girl who was actually forced to marry a man she doesn't know. He was like a total stranger. According to her, she said she was locked up when she was 16 because she refused to marry the man that her parents has chosen. She said growing up, there was no freedom. Everything was watched, monitored, and controlled. We understood that we had to be careful how we behaved so as not to shame the family. I'm one of 7 sisters, and there's only one younger than me. I've watched my sisters having to be married at a very young age, as early as 15. They would disappear to become a wife, and they would disappear to become a wife and come back from the village married, then stop school, and then go into these marriages where they are being physically, psychologically, and emotionally abused. And my impression of marriage was that this is what happens to you. You get married, you get beaten up, and then you're told to stay there. Is your husband, stay there, you're already married. My brother, it was not so with my brother. He had total freedom of expression. He was also allowed to choose who he wanted to marry, but the women were treated differently, and that was reinforced within the community. So it wasn't just like it was her family alone, it was what was going on within her community. I don't think I was smarter, I just don't know what it was within me. My mother used to say, you were born upside down, you were different from birth. Maybe she helped me out by saying that, because it made me question a number of things. And then when I was shown the photograph of this man as a 14-year-old, knowing that I've been promised to him from the age of 8, and being expected to contemplate marriage, I looked at this picture thinking, well, he's shorter than me and he's very much older than me, and I don't want this. And it was as simple as that. But within our family dynamics, we were taught to be silent. When it comes to marriage in this kind of communities, you have no say. It is not your place to decide. Your parents bring somebody and say marry, that person becomes your husband automatically. There's nothing you're saying. Okay, saying no to the marriage meant my family took me out of education and they held me a prisoner in my own home. I was 15 and I was locked in this room, and literally I was not allowed to leave the room until I agreed to the marriage. It was padlocked on the outside, and I had to knock on the door to go use the toilet, and they brought food they brought food to me through the door. My mother was the very person who enforced the rule. People don't think of women as the gatekeepers to an honor system. So in the end, I said yes, purely to plan my escape, and it was as simple as that, because then I had freedom of movement. The only friend we were allowed had to be from within our community as well, and my best friend, who was within my community, was my best friend. He was the one helping her out. He became my secret boyfriend. He had some money and said, I want to be with you and I'll help you to escape. He would come to the house at night and stand in the garden, and we would secretly mount things to each other through the window. One day he dressed up as a woman and went into a shoe shop, and pretended he was shopping. He handed me a note which said, I'll be at the back of the house at this time. Look out of the window. So I did, and he wanted for me to pack my wardrobe and lowered 2 cases down using sheets tied together and flushed the toilet so my mother wouldn't hear. And then one day I was at home with my dad, who was at home because he worked nights, and front of the door opened and I just ran out. I ran all the way, a good 3.5 miles, to where my boyfriend worked, and hid myself a wall and waited for him to come out. He went and got my cases and then picked me up in his forest court and got me to close my eyes and put my finger on a map, and he landed on Newcastle. Wow. For the continuation of the story, check it out on my channel. It is there, and I will see you in my next post. Bye.